Hey there, my name is Fumilayo from Beth Media, and today is day 41 of the 100 Days Python Programming Challenge. And today, have I got something interesting for you? Today, I will be talking about classes. Today, you will learn what a class is, what an object is. You will learn how to define a class, how to create an object, and also the attributes and methods. Sounds interesting? Then let's begin. And welcome to day 41. Day 41, and I will be introducing you to classes and objects. So, welcome to day 41. So, I'm sure you've heard of classes and wondered, like, what are classes? What is class? What's a class? What's the purpose of a class? Why do we have class? Class is a core concept in object oriented programming in Python, and today we would learn how to create a class, how to instantiate an object from a class, and we would understand attributes and methods. So I use like this image to explain what classes are. So a class is a blueprint for creating objects. It defines the structure and the behavior that the object of the class should have. And an object is an instance of a class. So looking at this image, dog is our class. And in our class, we have the properties of the dog and we have the methods, that is the functions we want the dog to perform. And in our dog class, we have dogs and then there are different breeds of dogs. So that is our object. We have our object one and object two and object three, and there are three different objects. And then with that object, we now have the breed, we have the age, and so on and so forth. So you see, it's like you're breaking like a main class into properties of the individual objects, and then you then have methods. So dog is our main class. We have our properties of the objects, which are breed and age, and then we have methods. The different examples you can use a car, for example, the different types of class of car, different properties, and there are different methods of the class. So this is how you would define, or how you would start a class. So we have our class dog, and then we have pass because we do not want it to do anything. So this is clearly how we write our classes, class dog. So the next thing is creating an object. What is an object? Like we said, this is object one, this is object two, and this is object three. So if we want to create an object is an instance of a class. It's just simply by doing my dog equals to dog. And this is how we've created an object of a class. Don't be worried if you do not get it. It's a step-by-step process. And as we continue with each step, you would get it. So my dog is the instance of the class dog. And then let's make the class more meaningful. Let's add attributes to it. Let's add properties. Let's add methods. So attributes are data and variables that belongs to a class. What are the attributes of our class? The breed of the dog and the age of the dog. And what are the methods? These are the functions that define the behavior of the class. What are our methods? We have eat and sleep. Remember again, we have our main class, which is dog, and then we have the properties, the breed of the dog, the age of the dog. Then we have methods. Methods are the functions that the dog performs. The dog eats, the dog sleeps. Don't forget those three things. They're very important. So attributes, they belong to a class. Methods are functions. And then in Python, we usually define attributes inside an init method. And what are init methods? They are called construction. It is used to initialize the object attributes. So init is a special method in Python classes. It is called when an object is created. So this is how you would normally have like a class. Let's write. So we have class dog. Do not forget the column, and then we'll define a function inside our class. So we have init. So and then inside our bracket, we would have what is called self. Self, this refers to the current instance of a class. It is required as the first parameter. So first parameter of any method in that class. So we would have self. And then what are now like the attributes? The attribute that we're using is breed and age. So in here we would have breed, and then we would have age. Breed and age, those are our attributes. And then the next thing is like we want to assign the attributes by using, remember the self that we called here, we're going to use it for of the each of the attributes that we have. So we would have self dot breed is equal to breed, and we would have self dot age is equal to age. So you see, we've used the init that is automatically called when we create an object. So it's automatically called when we create an object. And self, this is the current instance of a class, and it's required as the first parameter. You see, it's our first parameter, and breed and age is our second parameter. And self allows an object to be able to have access to its own methods and variables. So now let's create instances of our dog class. So what are instances of our dog class? So my dog, don't forget that we created instances here. So my dog equals to dog. What is dog? Our class name. And then what am I putting in my brackets? The breed and the age. So I would have Husky, and then how old is my dog? My dog is 6 years old. And then from there, I can then print out the breed or the age of my dog. So I would have print my dog dot breed. And if I run this, we get the breed of the dog. And if I change it to age and I run this, we get the age of the dog. So you see, we've been able to create objects of our class. We've been able to add attributes. Attributes are data variables that belong to the class, that is breed and age. We have not done the method yet. We'll do that next. And then we use the init method that is used to initialize the object attributes. And then we added attributes to our classes, that is the breed and the age. Always remember this big picture. We have our dog that is the main class, the properties of the dog. And each different dog that we have multiple, more than one dog that is partaken, they are individual objects of the dog class. And then we have our methods, that's the functions that the objects perform, that is eat and sleep. Always have this picture at the back of your head, at the back of your mind, sorry, and then you would remember faster and remember better. So now let's add methods to our class. So still using the class that we defined, the dog class. If I want to add, I want the dog to bark. Again, self, which is the first parameters. And then I don't want any other parameters, so just self. And then I want to print out using an F string. So what do I want? I want it to print out the breed of the dog. Self.breed, we did it here to get the breed from our when we're calling the function. And then we want it to say wolf. So then what would I do? Still using my same and then I'll do my dog dot barck dot back. And then when I print this, we say Husky sets WAF. So this is our class, this is our init method, these are the attributes, the breed and the age, and this is the method that I'm using. And then in my method, I'm printing out the attribute, what the attribute is doing in my function. So this is how we added methods to the class. So this is like the basic, the ground zero of classes. So we defined a class. We use the keyword followed by the class name. So class, that is the keyword. Remember in functions, we use def anytime we're defining a function. In class, we use class. followed by the class name. And then we created an object, an instance of our class. So it is my dog equals to dog, and then the bracket, that is the dog that we define in our class. And then we then added attributes and methods. These attributes are data variables that belongs to a class. What are attributes that belongs to the class? We have the properties, we have the breed, we have the age, and then we then called methods, which are functions that the classes does. So we have eat and sleep, functions that the object does, sorry. So this picture, let me go over it one final time. We have our dog class, and then in our dog class, we have multiple objects that belongs to the dog class. And each object in that class has different properties: their breed, their age, their size, their height, etc. And this is individual to each object. And then we have our method. These are the functions that our object will perform. We want our object to perform. So we want it to eat and sleep. And that's basically what we've done here. This is the attributes of our properties of our dog class, the breed and the age. And then this is the function that the class we want the dog to perform. We want it to bark. So classes are blueprints for creating objects, and objects are instances of class. Attributes are variables that hold data to class, and methods are functions that define the variable of a class. So these are simple classes practice questions for you to try out. Try it out. Let me know if you get it. And tomorrow we'll go further to talk about class. Again, this is the basic that you think you need to understand when you're first learning classes. Remember this image, and I'll see you tomorrow when we continue our discussion on classes. That's it for this video. Do not forget to like, to subscribe, to share, and to leave a comment. And the link to the notebook that we worked on is available in my GitHub. Link is in the description. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you tomorrow.